United States has captured Venezuela's president Maduro and his wife, says Trump. What has happened? Confirmed reporting so far by AP News and The Guardian. According to the US government's announcements and multiple international news outlets, such as AP News, Axios, and The Guardian, the United States says it carried out a large scale military operation in Venezuela that involved airstrikes and special operation forces. US President Donald Trump claimed Venezuela President Nicolas Maduro and his wife, Celia Flores, were captured and flown out of Venezuela. Maduro and Flores are reportedly now in US custody and will face criminal charges in New York. US officials, including the Attorney General, announced indictments alleging narco-terrorism and drug trafficking against them. Venezuela's government, meanwhile, calls the attack a military aggression and kidnapping, demanding proof of life and denouncing the operation as a violation of sovereignty. World leaders widely condemned the operation, with countries like China, France, and regional governments calling it a violation of international law and a dangerous precedent. Now, was it legitimate under international law? Short answer: almost certainly not under established international law. International law principles, including those in the United Nations Charter, generally prohibit the use of force against another sovereign state, except in very narrow cases, such as 1. Self-defense. A state can use force if it is responding to an armed attack. There is no credible evidence Venezuela attacked the United States in a way that would justify defensive use of force. Number 2, UN Security Council authorization. Any military action outside self-defense normally needs approval by the Security Council. There is no indication such authorization exists for this operation. And number 3, sovereignty and non-intervention. Kidnapping a sitting head of state on his own territory contradicts core norms of sovereignty unless the host state consents. And Venezuela clearly does not. So, while the US may argue it has domestic criminal jurisdiction for charges like drug trafficking, international law views foreign military capture of another country's president as an unlawful intervention and violation of sovereignty. This is reflected in immediate international condemnations and calls for dialogue at the UN. So these are the cases where another country can invade another country using a military might. Now, what offense did Maduro commit according to the US? US authorities have publicly cited indictments alleging narco-terrorism and cocaine trafficking that allegedly shipped massive quantities into the US. 2, weapons offenses and drug conspiracy charges in US federal courts. Those indictments reportedly date back to earlier legal actions against Maduro and others associated with the Venezuelan government. However, those are US legal charges, not international court rulings. The Venezuelan government denies the legitimacy of these claims and says the operation is outright aggression. Looking at repercussions for other presidents and global norms, other presidents that might have or possess similar characteristics and similar attributes to Maduro. This case is extraordinary and extremely controversial. If this action stands without unified global legal backing, it risks creating a dangerous precedent where powerful states use military force to remove leaders they deem criminal. Again, other governments might feel incentivized to act unilaterally against foreign heads of states, undermining the rules-based international orders. It raises questions about how international justice should be pursued through extradition treaties and international courts, not unilateral warfare. International law experts warn that a pattern like this could undermine sovereignty, increase instability, and weaken multilateral institutions like the UN. Is this a case study for similar leaders? In academic and policy cycles, this will certainly become a case study, but primarily as a cautionary example, not a model to emulate. Key issues scholars and practitioners will examine include legality of extraterritorial captures without consent, limits of national jurisdiction versus international criminal processes, risks of military enforcement in political or criminal accountability, and impact on regional stability, refugees, and humanitarian conditions. So rather than legitimizing future unilateral actions, this incident is expected to spark debates on reforming international mechanism for dealing with leaders accused of serious crimes while respecting sovereignty and law. I know there are other countries in the list of the United States for these same offenses, but let's see what unfolds in the coming days and the argument that we finally prevail on this particular issue. The bottom line: the US claims it captured Maduro and his wife and will prosecute them for alleged crimes. The Venezuelan government and many global states condemn the act as illegal aggression. International law does not normally allow one country to arrest another country's president by force. This will likely be studied, but as a controversial and potentially destabilizing precedent, not a lawful template. Let me know what you think or your views on this matter in the comment section, and let's discuss further through the chats. Thank you for listening. Take care and have a nice day.